Jade plants have always been a big part of my YouTube channel, including this large one here that I have behind me. But recently, one of my favorites went from having a majestic tree-like structure to looking like this. And I'll explain why. So about 2 months ago, I started to notice the leaves were just looking very unhealthy. There was little raised bumps, there were spots on them. They would actually even wrinkle up, turn yellow, and fall off, so I was losing a lot of leaves. You can see here, there's some kind of black, brown spots on the leaf closest to the stem there. So I really didn't know what was going on with this plant. I thought maybe it was a pest issue, possibly fungal or bacterial, or maybe even a nutrient issue. So like any normal person, I decided to cut off every branch on this plant, and you can see again the leaves and the stems just don't look healthy at all. It actually had a Hoya kind of growing along the plant itself as well, so I had to dismantle that, and I just continued on cutting off all the branches. Now this definitely wasn't easy for me to do, like I said, because this is one of my favorite plants, but it had to be done. I just wanted to restart this plant. I thought I would take a couple Hoya cuttings, but I found some mealybugs on them, so they quickly went into the trash. Now over the next couple months, my plant stayed in the south-facing window, keeping an eye on my little sparrow friends, but I did supplement the winter light with the Soltech Vitagrow light, and it's done really, really well. So this brings us to present day, and this is an area of my home that I typically don't show a lot of in my videos, but this is my upstairs plant setup. Here's my south-facing window, and you might be asking yourself, why on earth did he place a grow light in a south-facing window? I live in Saskatchewan, and it's one of the sunniest places in Canada, but throughout the winter months, the days are shorter, so your plant isn't going to be receiving as much light as it would throughout the summer months, and you definitely don't want it to go into dormancy, so adding a grow light just helps with increased light. Now, it's not very often that we get cloudy days, but when we do, obviously that limits the amount of light as well. I don't really have anything obstructing my window, so if you have any large trees or any buildings, anything obstructing a window, that just decreases the amount of light as well. So that's why I added this grow light, just for consistent light throughout the winter months. I do keep it on for about 12 hours a day, and clearly it has helped establish new growth on this plant. You can see lots of new healthy green growth on the plant. And I often get questions of whether or not you can prune a brown, like woody portion of the stem, and obviously you can. It will branch out, but a lot of times it might look a little goofy just with a thick branch like this, and then small little, I guess, side branches or stems kind of things. So you definitely can prune a woody portion of the stem, but everything is growing really, really nice, but we kind of have a big problem. I was seeing some areas of deformed leaves, like up here, just little signs that there still might be an issue. And then I found this right there, that little guy. So that little white speck on the leaf is a nasty little mealybug. They like to hide in little cracks and crevices at the bottom of leaves, underneath branches, that sort of thing. And when I pan around the rest of the plant, I'm seeing signs of mealybugs in other places. So this is a big issue. I never had mealybugs in the past, but they do come in on produce as well as other plants. So there's another one right there on the bottom of the leaf. And this is what they look like. They just look like a little armored shelled bug. This really isn't the best example because of these brown nasty bananas, but a lot of times you will find, or you can find, mealybugs on the bottoms of the bananas, as well as maybe along the top portion here as well. Just kind of hidden away, and eventually they will make their way to your plants. Mealybugs are very common on jade plants. Like I said, I've never had an issue with them in the past, but yeah, common with jade plants as well as Hoyas. You'll see them along the stem here, underneath the leaves, just kind of like a white fuzz. So I'll show you how to treat them, but it's not easy. And did you know that not only can you get mealybugs on the leaves and your plant, but you can also get what's called root mealies. So I'm not taking this out, but just be cautious that if you think you've treated them all, they might be actually down in the soil as well. So I've heard of doing things like hydrogen peroxide soaks, that sort of thing. I've never actually done that, but if they keep coming back, which they probably will, you might have an issue with root mealies as well. We'll go with this guy right here, but there's a couple ways of dealing with mealybugs. One popular way is soaking the end of a Q-tip in rubbing alcohol, or like it says 70% isopropyl alcohol. And all you do is find that nasty little mealybug and just kind of dab them with the alcohol like that. And eventually, well, most times it doesn't come off on the Q-tip, but they do turn orange like this. So once they turn orange or brown, then they're cooked, they are toasted. So this one, it's dead, and you can just go around the plant with a new Q-tip and just get in every little leaf and crack that you can, or crevice that you can find, and that will eventually take care of the mealybugs, the ones that you can see. See, look at that little guy. Just a cooked mealy on a Q-tip. Now I'll show you the method that I do, just because this Q-tip method can be quite tedious and time consuming. So my next target is this guy right there, and what I like to do is pull out the big guns. I have a spray bottle of the 70% alcohol, and all I do is just spray that mealybug, and you can see pretty much instantly he turned orange. And this is a good way to, I guess, spray the plant down for areas that you can't see. And I've never had any issues with the alcohol harming the plant. Now, obviously I should pull this back a little bit just so it isn't in direct sunlight. But this is pretty much what I do, is I just spray the entire plant, all of the leaves and underneath, and then let it kind of drip dry. Now, if you didn't like looking at fried mealybugs, then you can take your Q-tip afterwards and just remove them like that. I don't know where he fell down there somewhere, but well, it didn't come off with the Q-tip, but afterwards, if you want to spray off the plant with some water, once the alcohol dries, you can as well, but just make sure that you have some sort of like oscillating fan or something that can help evaporate the water off the leaves, because you don't want water sitting on the leaves, because then you'll be dealing with a fungal issue. So that's the reason why people say not to spray jade plant leaves, is because if you let water sit on the leaves, it's going to develop either like a fungal or bacterial issue. So I'm just going to go around the plant, spraying off all of the leaves like so. You can even find them along the branches here, but I'm not really going to spend much more time on, oh, here's a juicy one right there. Let's see if we can get them in the light and then spray. You can see he turned to kind of a brown reddish color. So he's cooked, no longer going to infect this plant. I should also mention one other thing. I don't think that you can use neem oil on succulents like the jade plant or a cactus. I'm pretty sure neem oil, which I don't use, but I've heard it actually burns the leaves, whereas, like I said, I've never had any issues with just spraying the leaves off with alcohol. But maybe if you're unsure whether it'll fry your plant or damage the leaves, maybe just do a small area like this as a little test spot, and then just see how your plant responds. While the plant dries back here in the shade, I'm going to show you my light meter. I like to use the foot candle setting. Well, in the shade, it's getting about 300 foot candles. It's times by 10 right now, just because, as you see, once we hit direct sunlight, this jumps up. It says 512, but that's 5,200 foot candles. So this is a very high light area, and underneath the grow light here as well, within probably about a foot, it's reading as 6,000 foot candles. So definitely the correct amount of light that you want for a jade plant. It needs bright, very bright direct sunlight for about 6 hours a day is kind of the minimum that you want for a healthy looking jade plant. And here's another one that I recently chopped all the branches off because it kind of looked like the same, had little black dots, but it's coming back quite nice and healthy. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for mealybugs, which I think I see one right there. But anyways, it's got some nice, beautiful green sun-stressed leaves. It's got the red margins around it. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out as well. Here's a beautiful Hoya. I think the last thing I want to talk about is the soil type that I have it in. This is the VeryPlants succulent soil. It's a nice airy mixture, so it provides airflow to the roots and it doesn't hold on to moisture for too long. So there was a comment, I can't remember if it was on Instagram or YouTube, but someone thought the yellowing on the leaves, like this Golem Jade is doing right now, you can see like these leaves are wrinkling and falling off after they turn yellow. Very similar to this one. So someone had mentioned it looks like a nutrient issue. So this soil from VeryPlants doesn't come with any nutrients in it. So I did buy some slow release fertilizer. I mixed it in. So these little round ball things here, it is fertilizer. So hopefully, I don't think it was a nutrient issue. I think it was a pest or fungal issue. But yeah, I just added some slow release fertilizer. So that's pretty much all I do for this plant. Give it high light, make sure it gets enough nutrients, water when it needs to be watered. And what I like to do is the taco test. I've often said this in many jade videos, but if you can fold or bend a jade leaf, then it needs to be watered, like as long as the soil is bone dry. Jade leaves, they're nice and plump. They should be full of water, but you shouldn't be able to fold them. So this one definitely does not need to be watered. It's nice and firm. But if you can fold it, let's see here. Like if you can bend, whoops, that one just broke. But if it feels squishy, or if you can bend a jade leaf, I don't even know where a good example is. No, this one's well watered as well. So yeah, if you can bend or fold a jade leaf, if it feels squishy, then definitely give it a good soaking, making sure you have a drain hole in the bottom of your pot so that it can drain out excess water. But that's pretty much it for this plant. Obviously it does have mealybugs, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it, and I'll probably have to treat it a few times as well as the plants beside it. Now, one way to get rid of mealybugs is to place your plant outside in the summer and let nature take its course. So there's natural predators outside. Obviously, I still have a lot of snow, even though it's March 21st today. A lot of times there'll be natural predators like ladybugs that'll actually come on your plant and eat up all the mealybugs. So putting your plant outside during the summer is not only good for growth, like they like the sun and the heat, but you must put it in like a very shady spot, pretty much full shade, and then slowly acclimate it to higher light and higher heat. So that's what I'll be doing this spring, and I'll probably be making a video or two showing you how to acclimate your plant to the outdoor conditions when it's an indoor plant. But I think we're probably a couple weeks away from seeing the green grass, but I think that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. I hope you found it useful. I'll definitely be providing some updates down the road. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye.